So I have all of my slabs and I have my base. So what I need to do now is attach all of them. So I've got 3 pieces of slabs. You might have more, you might have less. But if I put them up around my base, they should all surround the entire base. There shouldn't be any big gaps. Now, I might have to cut these down if they're too big, but I've got it pretty good. Now, what I need to do, and I'm going to put 2 of these to the side, what I need to do is I need to start attaching these. So, how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my slip, and I'm going to score the side that I'm going to attach it to, and then I'm going to score along the bottom edge. So I'm just scoring on the bottom edge. Now, when I stick these 2 together, it should be like Velcro, where they grab onto each other. Now, that is pretty good of a connection, but it needs one more thing. It needs something to reinforce it. So I'm going to take a lump of clay, I'm going to roll it in between my hands, and I might have to make it smaller. I'm going to roll, until I have a teeny tiny coil. Now, this should be about as big as a worm. So I don't want it to be too thick. I might even go thinner than that. I might even go thinner. You really do not need a lot of clay. You don't want too much because then it's going to have a lump where your clay was. So I have a pretty thin coil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score and slip my coil. And then I'm going to score and slip this bottom edge where the 2 pieces connect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it into that hole. And notice how I'm going little by little at a time, squeezing it in. I don't want to put it all in at once because then it could trap some air bubbles. Now, I've got extra pieces of clay on the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off. Now, I'm going to go in with either a wooden tool or my finger, depending on which I'd prefer, and I'm going to squish this coil in. Now, what I'm doing is I'm smearing that clay up and down so that it connects fully to the top and bottom of the wall. Now, when I do this, I want to be careful not to press too hard because I don't want to make my walls have big dents or to show any deformity on these walls. I don't want to make them look all funky and wiggly. Okay, now, once I have secured this, I like to take my finger and go all the way across, back and forth, like I did with my toothbrush. And what this is going to do is it's going to smooth out all those lines that I just made by smearing it up and down. So, now that I have that, I want to show you guys up close what it looks like. Notice how it's a complete seam. It doesn't even look like there's a crack in between those. So that's a really good connection. Now, what I need to do next is add my second wall. So I'm going to take my second wall, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did to the one that I just made. But I want to do one extra scoring and slipping. So I'm going to take this left wall, scrape that up, and I'm going to do the same thing to the side that it's going to touch. Now I'm going to connect these, connect this, connect this, and now my walls are connected. Now, I need to still do that coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out some thin coils again. Roll out some thin coils. And then this one's not long enough, but I'm still going to use it because I can do this in parts. I'm going to connect this. Perfect, perfect. And then scrape, scrape, scrape. Connect this one up. And then, now that I've got those coils on, I need to do one on the sides of the seam between the two pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape those up, score them up, and then I'm going to score the other side because I need to do this to both sides. And then I'm going to make that coil. Now, this one, I want to be making sure that I'm not making it too thick. Because if this one is too thick, it's going to have a lump on the outside of my project, and that's going to be really noticeable. So I'm going to take my coil, score that, score the coil. Oops, it broke. That's okay. And then I'm going to wrap that around, kind of like a Band-Aid. Now, I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the other two coils. I'm going to go in with my tool, and I'm going to smear this out because I want it to connect those two pieces. I don't want that gap to still be there. I'm going to connect those pieces. Spreading that out. Spreading that out. And notice how when I'm spreading it, I'm not going like this, because what's going to happen if I keep pushing it with only one hand is that it's going to go out. Notice how it just bent out. If I put my hand on the other side of it, it's going to cushion that, and then it's not going to make it misshapen. And then I'm going to go on the top. And notice how I'm going in with my fingers and smoothing some of that stuff out. I want to make sure that it's all smooth. And then up and down. I didn't do this one yet. Up and down. Now, once I have all of my walls secured, I want you guys to raise your hands, check with me, just so that I can make sure that you didn't miss any spots, or that just to make sure that everything is connected the way that it should be.